There is a fog rolling in, resembling something of sin. Let's begin. Even a psychopath in a mess will be beautifully dressed up until your death. And she is a pretty good actress, and that is a pretty gross mattress. The tag removed and burned with matches. And the fact is, for every poker lie and poker disguise, there's a gun under the table that satisfies the battle between good and evil that is endless. So let's end this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the greatest podcast in mankind's history. This is the Anti-George Crone podcast. And today, due to recent events that have happened to me, I'm going to talk about the psychological makeup of a terroristic, sadistic, left-wing ideology that's spreading like a plague throughout America. I'm going to talk briefly about what has happened to me, but more importantly, I'm going to try and provide education on something known as malignant narcissism. It's psychological warfare that's being hijacked and pushed in mainstream media. And it has been for at least 10 years. And you are going to be amazed at what you were lied to about. In open, this is all, I'm not telling any secrets here. There's no secretive intel I'm going to be discussing. I'm just discussing psychological makeup and how this left-wing ideology is allowing people to accept terrorism in America. So, for example, Hassan Piker, in recent events, has expressed openly how 9/11 was good. 9/11, one of the worst terroristic acts this country has ever seen. We deserved that. Now, when the common person who believes in a good future, that children's lives matter, that you have the freedom in America to achieve prosperity, liberty, pursuit of happiness, constitutional rights are given to you. Someone hears that and they think of the Boston Marathon bombing. They think of 9/11. Terrorism is attempting to cause as much pain and suffering in the quickest amount of time possible. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Most people view that statement as that's disgusting. I can't imagine how someone got to that point. In this podcast, I'm going to illuminate how this is possible and how it could happen potentially to you within 6 months. This is a terroristic organization that understands psychological components, and they elicit reactions out of people. It's a psychological trick. It's an ad hominem, if you will. It's attacking someone's personal character rather than discussing merit and value and what's actually going on in the real world. I'm going to explain the psychology behind this, and I'm going to briefly mention what has happened to me and how this terroristic organization is rotting American culture, ideals, and freedoms as we know it. So I'm sounding the alarm and trying to educate people on malignant narcissists and the repercussions and the fallout of this phenomenon. So before we discuss this terroristic, sadistic organization, what is malignant narcissism? We have to understand malignant narcissism before we understand the group psychology. Malignant narcissism, historically, you can think of a historical figure, Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler widely suggested and in recent years accepted that he suffered from malignant narcissism, which led to the downfall of the Nazi regime taking over the world. How grandiose. We're going to take over the world. Next, we'll be rulers of the entire globe. And we'll have a a one world government and, blah, blah, blah. It's reptilian thinking, but what led to Adolf Hitler's downfall as a malignant narcissist was paranoia. So paranoia is a symptom of malignant narcissism. Another symptom is obviously grandiose thinking. Not to get into my woes and troubles, briefly giving you a synopsis, I'll spare you the details of this horrifying, gruesome journey of a personal relationship with a malignant narcissist who group now online in 2026. They group not because they care about anyone, it's because they want to protect themselves when you report a child sex crime, when you report some gross error that they've done over the years. In my personal case, and I'll spare you the details, financially robbed and hacked. Why? Malignant narcissist, male or female, if you were a female dating a male, which is probably more likely, they track you before the relationship, digital surveillance. They utilize flying monkeys, which they'll go, this person did X, Y, and Z. You got to look out for them. Let me know anything they do. They lie to pretty much everyone. Nothing is the truth from them. And they deny any accountability. If you go, hey, you're bullying me, to a malignant narcissist or a malignant narcissist boss, you will get gaslit to the nth degree. No, I'm not. And they utilize DARVO, by the way, deny, accuse, reverse victim offender role, which you see in mainstream media a lot with these malignant narcissist types. We'll get into that psychology of antagonistic, ridiculous reality. When you go, terrorism's not good, Hassan Piker, whatever his name is, you go, terrorism's not good. Well, you're Islamophobic. They deny, accuse, reverse victim offender role instead of discussing the merit of what's actually being discussed. Just to give you the synopsis, after I was financially robbed, I was sexually assaulted utilizing psychological linguistic tactics. It feels like your brain's getting imprinted on when you're being abused by a female. In my case, a female malignant narcissist abused me, and then they utilize the tactics during sex. They punish you constantly. They use silence to punish people. It's a very strange modality of perception they have, and if you don't subscribe to their reality, which is pretty much their grandiose and the rulers of the queens and kings of the land, you are subjected to extreme torture and terrorism. So, after I was sexually assaulted, I was then hacked, followed, tracked to medical facilities so I don't heal from the sexual assault, so I don't report the financial, and they get elated from how much pain and suffering they cause. So you wonder why Adolf Hitler, one of the most famous malignant narcissists, was able to accomplish the disgusting feats he did. It's because one step at a time, he lied to the German population. I'm trying to help you. That's a lot of the times they try and fool people with charm and these grandiose lies. And people accept it because the proclivity to be polite in a conversation overwhelms the modern person. I'm telling the American population this for a few reasons. So you have defense, and two, so you stand up for yourself. You start doing what's right. You stop lying. It's gone too far. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous world we live in. So, back to the malignant narcissism. They also have an all or none thinking, black and white, if you will. There's either a clear winner or a clear loser. And by the way, there is no winning. You just run. You call CPS and run. Ross of Nazareth line. Call CPS and run. Because everything will get burned to the ground. And the fallout is unbelievable. So understanding the malignant narcissist from a psychological level in an individual lens is extremely important. They utilize flying monkeys. What are flying monkeys? You've probably seen it in Wizard of Oz. Flying monkeys are people that they manipulate. They're unwilling participants in a catastrophic situation used as a line of defense, so they do their bidding for them. Why do the dirt? Why get your hands dirty when you can get other people to do it for you? Right? That's their mentality. And they don't care who they hurt when they hurt it, because deep inside them is an insecurity and a deep feeling of shame, hopelessness, and pain and suffering. All they feel is pain and suffering, and they're envious of people that can even have sympathy. Because malignant narcissists, this is a core feature and it should be studied. They have a social component to them, yet they're psychopathic. They don't feel empathy. It's a very strange psychological disorder. A psychopath is less dangerous because at least the psychopath goes, I'm not thinking about them. Who cares? I moved on with my life. A malignant narcissist will hold grudges for years, and they don't even understand why they're doing it. It's because they have this deep-rooted shame and insecurity built into them. I knew this person for 11 years. I trusted her, believe it or not. So there's a lot of acceptance to do as an individual when you get wronged, betrayed, robbed, sexually assaulted, blah, 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 terrorized by not only one malignant narcissist. Now I'm fighting 1,000 malignant narcissists. Could you imagine? 1,000 little Hitlers running around. But that's the truth. And they utilize vague communication styles, so they pretend like they're above the law. And you have to get law enforcement to intervene because they will not stop. That's the psychological makeup of a malignant narcissist. We had to use the atomic bomb to put it in perspective. All right. So let's get into the group psychology now that you understand malignant narcissism. I'm not being over dramatic. This is an understatement, truly. So wait until you get into the group psychology. It's going to blow you away at what you were lied to specifically and accepted as an American. What I'm about to discuss now is the most disturbing part about malignant narcissism. In 2026, they've utilized AI. They studied an FBI manual how to elicit reactions out of people, how to confuse people to the nth degree, and even bring people to the point of psychosis. And this is studied. This is well documented. And as I'm going, after I was sexually assaulted, stalked, harassed, slandered to an entire town, to an entire group that slanders me everywhere I go. So I went to these mental facilities and they're giving me death threats. You're dead if you talk. Dead. We're gonna. They use vague communication styles. You ever been stabbed? Have you ever? Like, they use questions oftentimes to form their manipulation, often to deeply root an insecurity or fear in yourself. I was highly aware of this as it's occurring. So I'm battling all these people. And meanwhile, I'm trying to help them. I'm like, how did you become this? Why would you stalk me? I didn't do anything to you. You don't know me. They call themselves family online. They're just people deeply insecure, hopeless, destitute. Most of them are destitute. People that, steal, hacking, fraudsters, scammers. They have all the psychological tricks. They fool Bethlehem Police Department completely. They use hacking and AI voice recognition software. There's groups of them. This is going to be a Netflix documentary. I guarantee it. What has happened to me was not okay. Never will be okay. And I want the American population to wake up to what's actually going on, what's being said in our communities. We are accepting modern day sadism. Slowly, it's integrating into our lives and it's decaying us. Why? Because of group psychology. What is group psychology? Group psychology, there's experiments of people getting into an elevator and everyone's facing one way, not where the elevator door is, how a normal person stands. Just because a group of people were standing 90 degrees to the left, an ordinary person would walk into that elevator and stand 90 degrees to the left. They follow suit like lemmings. And malignant narcissists not only understand this, they group as a protection mechanism. They are now grouping as an evolutionarily designed, natural selection coursed modality of being. They have grouped and they know the power of grouping. They fool people into lawsuits. They fake accidents. And then they go, yeah, this happened. A group of them. And then they all split the profits. And this has been an ongoing issue for about 10 years. And they engage in stalking. If you unmask a malignant narcissist, watch out. Watch out. They have groups of them just to follow you if you unmask them. And that's how they got away with this for so long until they were caught, in my case. But this gang stalking was a persecutory phenomenon. People were insane. No, they're not. They not only are highly calculated criminals, they understand how to fool doctors. Doctors, psychiatrists, toast. Not even a chance, dude. Not even one chance. And one stupid comedian comes along and sees it all. And they can't have that. So I'm sounding the alarm. Death threats daily. This is it's out of control. They follow me 20 different facilities. Why is that possible? The power of group psychology. So they fear originality. Once you see how they all operate in their archetypes, anyone that's original, they called me neurodivergent, whatever that means. I'm not neurodivergent. I'm an ordinary person. And I believe in what's doing right, protecting children. That's it. That's all. That's my crime. This big crime I committed. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. How is this possible? So group psychology. I could make a sociopath in 6 months. That's their design. Malignant narcissists know how to elicit you and strip you down to your bare bones, then build you back into a sociopathic freak. Now you're a gang stalker. So a lot of them get fooled back into normal, ordinary people can get tricked into this. So what you have been lied about specifically is trans. This is a far left ideology. If one person goes, men aren't women, no one cares. As soon as there's a group, now it has the power. Because if you are isolated from the group, you have a natural fear of rejection. I claim that's BS in 2026. Stand up. No, a man is not a woman. Furthermore, I was tracked and stalked by a trans. I'm like, I know you don't care about anyone but yourself. I know you're not trans. He's like, yeah, I know. So what our conversation elicited was that they utilize anything that they have control and power over. If they are dressed like a woman, they get away with more. No one suspects them of doing crazy, horrible financial abuse and crimes. So it's a protection mechanism. It's a cloak, if you will. And malignant narcissists know this. That's why they use females usually as the lead of the criminal organization, female, or trans now. And it's not only that, it's not real, it's deeply rooted in insecurity. So they have fooled an entire healthcare system, gender affirming rights. First of all, it was a malignant narcissist group that utilized flying monkeys to do their bidding for them. They fooled people and they're laughing. They're truly laughing at you. The malignant narcissists who claimed they were trans were lying from the get-go. And they're spoken by a true trans malignant narcissist. We had a whole conversation. I laughed. I was like, I can't believe you guys pulled this off. It's true. And there's a very small percentage on the internet that have wreaked havoc now for 10 years on our whole society. And they find loopholes in the legal system, how the local police can't act on hacking. And I was hacked inside the Bethlehem police station. So that's the power of group psychology. It is so important that you stand up for your rights. They fear someone who's original. They fear you because you don't see the world through their false reality. And as soon as you start eliciting what you truly are, which is a perspective to the universe through your own viewpoint, as soon as you start sharing someone else's viewpoint, I'm looking through a trans, that's not yours. You're not being yourself. You're a lemming. You're an archetype, just like they are. And I'm so glad I'm not. You can do whatever you guys want to me. I'm glad I'm not you. At the end of the day, I have integrity. I know who I am. There's no question about it. Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? What do you stand for? What do you like? What are your personal traits? What's your personality like? What do you enjoy doing for fun? Knowing yourself is half the battle. So ask yourself, do you know who you are?